Arizona to move up, and Dick went into a side room to talk to Arizona for a few minutes, and he came out of that room and he goes, I don't know what went on, but when he came out of the room, the deal was off. And Arizona apparently wanted to pick that guy, Mike Jones, a defensive lineman. They didn't want to move out of that spot. And Atlanta took Favre with the next pick, and the Jets got stuck with Browning Nagel.
Can I ask you guys, Jake, answer me this, Jake. Now, Rich could obviously answer because he's been around forever and he's the man. But from our perspective, right, there's got to be a commonality for all these teams that suffer for such a long amount of time, right? And the Mets have been through this. And really before Cohen, the ownership was a big issue with Wilpon. We can criticize Hal, and there's some issues there. But in a word, it's not just, the Jets can't find a quarterback or Woody's cheap, because he's not. What do you, as a younger Jets fan, what do you think in a word or a sentence is the reason why the Jets can never get out of their own way?
I think that's the problem. I don't know if there is a word or a sentence, because it feels like it's always just different things. And I don't want to do it's the Namath curse, like people have said, or it's like, it's all just Woody. Like, it's not Woody's fault that Aaron Rodgers ruptured his Achilles on the fourth play. Like just crazy things happen. Rich has covered this team longer than anyone ever. He has covered most of these crazy things, but at times it's certainly been the ownership. It's been the coaching. It's been poor personnel decisions. It's been just bad luck. The craziest thing is, I don't know if it's just one thing. If you can only pick one, over the last 25 years, you blame the owner because it starts with him. But It's so much more than that, because there's been times when, Woody Johnson's tried to win and he's actually done the right thing, and they still they haven't been able to figure it out, which is infuriating for any long-suffering Jet fan that has to sit here and watch, playoff-less football for 15 straight seasons and counting.
See, I think you nailed that too. There's so many things there. I think the biggest issue for years, I think it's changing now. Like after Parcells left the building, like the Jets don't have good connections around the NFL. That's why you ask Charlie Casserly about a quarterback or a head coach, or you ask Peyton about Adam Gase. Like they never have, I don't mean to disparage an entire group of people, but they never have football savvy people in the building, embedded, connected around the league, that are a step ahead on draft night and trades. And it's just like they're just trying to find their way through a wilderness. Like, that's my answer, Rich. Do you agree with that to an extent?
Well, I could go all night on this, but I'll say this. I won't mention his name. I was talking to a Hall of Fame coach today, and I asked him that very question. I'm like, why can't the Jets get it right? And he said, to be a successful franchise, you need one person in the building who's a really good talent evaluator. Not only players, but coaches, assistant coaches, and other people in the building as well, organizational people. You need someone who is a good people evaluator and a good talent evaluator, and that is something that the Jets have lacked. Now, they've lacked a lot of other things, and we could go on and on, but in the opinion of this Hall of Fame coach who's won many Super Bowls, that is the key thing to him. They lack a proven, consistent talent evaluator.
Come on, who was it? Just tell us.
Does Bill Parcells want to recoach the Jets again, Rich?
I wasn't talking to Parcells today. It wasn't him.
Bill Cowher?
No.
He said multiple Super Bowls. Tom Coughlin, maybe? Syracuse connection?
I'll be writing it someday. Someday I'll be writing it, but I'll keep it under my hat for now.
I love it. All right, some questions before we wrap this baby up. Appreciate everyone in here. We have over 400 people watching live. Make sure if you're tuning in for the first time and you haven't subscribed to the Jets Collective YouTube channel, you do so. Plus, if you ever missed the show, check out the audio version of the podcast wherever you get your podcast. This first one is from Kyle Clifton, not the former Jet linebacker, but the great Kyle Clifton here on YouTube, who says, all I want is Reese 2, only trade up if style slips and the price is manageable to come from 16. Future picks, excluding next year's first. And for folks to subscribe to the Jets Collective and the Jake Asman Show and vote for Kyle Clifton from here on out. Kyle, we appreciate your support. The last part I want to bring up, because we hit on this earlier, the future picks they have, Rich, 2027 first rounders. What would be your level of shock if any deal the Jets made in this year's draft involved one of those 3 first-round picks they have in 2027?
A pretty high level of shock. I mean, that is gold. That's like platinum, for next year. I mean, who would it be for? I mean,
Nobody.
I mean, you're not going to trade that for Brian Thomas Jr. I mean, who would it be for? There's not a quarterback in this draft. I mean, anything short of trading up for Mendoza, but the Raiders have let everybody know that they're not moving off that. So, yeah, I would be shocked if he parted with one of those 3 picks.
0.0%. No chance it's happening. Listen, the Jets and Dallas with those couple of picks as well. The Jets really control a lot of what could happen in a week or so. Next year, they basically control everything. Nobody's touching those picks.
I think it's well said. Derek checks in. Jake, BT, Rich, you guys are awesome. I was just wondering, assuming we can't trade back from 16 or 33, which 2 players would you guys prefer there? I just realized we didn't get to our ideal draft scenario with the top 4, so
let's go.
Let's let it rip, because this basically kind of answers it. Rich, you got your 4, because this kind of ties in perfectly.
Yeah, well, I'm a Reese guy. As I said, I would take him at 2. That would be my choice for all the reasons we talked about earlier, just the best player, period. And then at 16, maybe not likely to happen, but we're talking about ideal. My ideal would be Jordan Tyson there at 16. You know, I tend to doubt that he gets that far, but he'd be my ideal. At 33, I'm taking Chris Johnson, the cornerback from San Diego State. I think it's been an underplayed need for the Jets this offseason. He's 6 foot. He's got 4 interceptions last year. He had 2 returned for pick sixes. I think he fits what Aaron Glenn wants to do. I would take Chris Johnson at 33. And then at 44, I would take Jacob Rodriguez, the linebacker from Texas Tech. He is a tackling machine. 7 forced fumbles last year, led the FBS, 4 interceptions. I think Jamian Sherwood is probably one and done for the Jets. And you need another linebacker. Demario Davis is 37 years old. That's my second round pick. Those are my 4 ideal guys.
Good work. By the way, Rodriguez, former quarterback, as you guys know. So
yes,
he sees the game. Yeah, that's good stuff. All right, I could inundate you guys with trades. I won't. Number 2, swallow Reese. I'm going to take Reese at 2. I'm going to probably have to move up, but I'm hoping Sadiq's there at 16. Probably won't be, but I'm going to put him in now. And if he's not, by the way, I do like McCoy, the quarterback from Tennessee, but I'm gonna go with Sadiq. Okay, number 33, C.J. Allen, a linebacker from Georgia, more of an edge presence than against the run, so he satisfies that Jermaine Johnson's gone, etc. And at number 44, I'm going to go with a local kid. Actually played at Don Bosco, a guard, Chase Basanti from A&M. So. I get that edge rush. I get maybe a tight end who could beat everybody downfield. I get a linebacker who could pop, and I get that interior help on the front 5, which I think they need, and which I do think they will address at some point. Jake, what about you?
Ooh, very good one there. So all these names you guys mentioned were in consideration for me. In fact, I changed a couple of them just to not have some overlap here. At 2, I'm an Arvell Reese guy. I like David Bailey, but again, the logic behind Bailey is what I'm most intrigued by, but I still would take Reese. I think he's got the highest upside. You're drafting for a superstar at 2. I think he could be that guy. 16, my favorite receiver is Mekhi Lemon. If he's there, I would take him. I won't say Carnell Tate because I don't think it's realistic that he'll be there at 16. I don't buy it. So if I'm not making any trades, I'll take Mekhi Lemon, the wide receiver at a USC. 33, I desperately wanted to put Ty Simpson there, but I couldn't do it. I'm not sure if he's definitely going to be there. It's up in the air. I went with Emmanuel Pignon from Oregon. He could play guard. He could play in any scheme, inside zone, gap. I think he's really solid. I watched him at the Senior Bowl. I just think you add more depth to your offensive line and you keep building your team to get set for probably the big swing at quarterback in 2027. And then at 44, I went with a safety here. Really good safety class. I went with A.J. Housey, who played at LSU. Watched him at the Senior Bowl.